Right, everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to cover the sales funnel diagnostics flowchart. So this flowchart is basically going to show you, the types of standings you could aim at, or the types of like base rule of thumb type of places you should be at within your business. So let's say for your close rate, if you're under 30%, that's probably an issue. If your show up rate is under 70%, there's probably an issue. And if your booking rate is under 10%, there's probably an issue with your sales funnel. So this goes into, the whole lead contacts you part of the whole funnel. So if we go look at the overall section here, we have where a lead notices your business. So these are all the ways they notice you. Then after that, there's the ways leads inform themselves. So they go see your online reputation, your website, your content, and then they end up contacting you. Then there's the rest, they purchase from you and so on. But we're going to talk about this section here, and most specifically, what are the benchmarks that you could actually look at and maybe compare yourself with your business. So first thing we're going to talk about here is going to be your close rate. So if your close rate is under 30%, there's probably no issue with your sales. And by the way, this flowchart, from where it comes from, is actually Alex Hormozi. So I took this from Alex Hormozi, so I can't take any credit for it. But I'm just going to go through it for you guys and just see if I can't explain this a little bit better. So in terms of close rate, if your close rate is under 30%, then that means yes, you probably have an issue. So are you seeing consistently low close rates, i.e. low for the whole team over at least 1+ months? So if you're seeing that and there is yes, then you keep going on the funnel. If it's no, then you have a sales team constraint. So the coach or the team or attract better talent. So there's probably something with your sales team. So if you say yes to this, so you are seeing consistently low close rate for the whole team. Does your offer resonate with customers? Validated through customer interviews. So maybe you contact them, you see with them what's the issue with the offer. Maybe it's an offer that worked in the past, but now doesn't work anymore with the current times. If yes, that is the case, then you have a sales process constraint, so improve your sales process. But if it doesn't, then you have an offer constraint. So revise the offer and make it more attractive. So basically, if your close rate is bad, you have these 3 options that you could improve upon. So your sales process, your offer, or your sales team. Now, if your sales team is the issue, there's hiring, there's whatever it may be. If your offer is the issue, you might want to change your offer, change the guarantees. We have a video, we're probably going to do a video covering offers. So we have a little section here on how to improve your offers. So, increasing value to client, the formula here, again, from Alex Hormozi. I got to give him a shout out there. Generate more revenue, so increasing LTV, AOV, increasing price, increasing demand, enhancing your offer. Analyze and then competitor analysis to see if there's offers on the market that are better than yours, and that might be worth it for you to emulate. So let's get back into it here. In terms of close rates, so now we just covered the offer here. In terms of the sales team, we don't have any information about that, but maybe in your sales process, there might be something that you could do in terms of automated flows. So if you go see our other video about how to optimize your sales process, we're gonna talk about that. And basically what you can do is you could have, appointment reminders are gonna be more for show up rates, but maybe post consultation flows. So post the first call you have with that person, you might have some different flows set up, some different email automation set up, so that when you finish the call with them, you actually give them all this information and increase the likelihood that they actually end up being a client of yours. So there's ways to automate these processes, and also in your pre-sales flow. So before the actual first sales call, you can have different messaging, different emails that might convince them better. And so that when they get onto the actual sales call, they're going to be more comfortable with your offer. They're going to have more information at hand. And if they make a decision, they're going to be making a decision that's going to be more likely to be in your favor. So if we see it that way, these are things you could do. And again, we have the video for that, as well as we have a training. So basically, it's a document covering all the different ways you can optimize this within your service business. And if you want to download those, they're going to be linked in the description below. Those are completely free. So if you want to access those, we have 12 of those, 1 for sales, 1 for automations, and 10 other things. So you can check that out. Now, if we go again, sales team, I don't have any information on that here. Now, if we go down and we say, okay, your close rate is not the issue. Is it your show up rate? So if your show up rate is under 70%, so meaning people are not showing up to the appointments, 30% of people or more are not showing up to their appointments. If that's the case, then are you booking most calls within 38 hours? And is there sufficient availability to book? So this is one thing that we notice might be an issue. Sometimes is that if a person has a booking calendar and they have 2 spots a day, well, that person that's looking to book an appointment might not have the time to actually take that appointment at, let's say, 1:30 or the other one at 3:30. Might only have time at 2. But since they kind of want to get on the call, they book it for 1:30, and then they hope that they could fix their calendar. So that's something you could fix there, is just fixing the amount of availabilities you have so that it really gets them the best time for them, and then increases the likelihood that they actually show up. And then, are you booking calls, most calls within 38 hours? That means the further out you are from the intention or the decision that the person wanted to contact you, well, the less likely they are to actually show up to their appointments. Because if it's in 3 months from now, they might forget, things might change, their mind might change, whatever it may be. So if those are two constraints of yours, you could change that. And then I would even say for that, something that I would add to it is, are you setting up appointment reminder flows? So if you don't have these set up, so basically you can set up pretty easily, with the automation software nowadays. So you basically send them emails, reminders before the appointment, maybe 24 hours before, 3 hours before, 1 hour before, 15 minutes before. And that just increases the likelihood that even if they took an appointment 5 days ago, well, now they're getting reminders the day before, so they can make sure that, okay, I'm actually going to make some time for this appointment. And then if they forget, well, at least they could cancel the call before not showing up. So something to consider there. Now, if you are, then yes, you have a sales nurture constraint, so improve the nurture sequence process, like we're saying, the email flows. And if no, then you have a sales call timeliness constraint, so improve call timeliness and availability. So those are the two options you have there. So if we go back from the top, if you have issues with your close rate, it's your sales process, your offer, or your sales team. You see which one of these it is for you. If you have an issue with your show up rate, it's going to be your sales nurture or your sales call timeliness. And then we're going to talk about here your booking rate. Now, the thing I want to mention for this is going to depend on every industry. These are benchmarks that I would say, I guess, Mozi took from the businesses he's working with. So it's going to be industry dependent. You might have higher close rates or higher show up rates in different metrics. The thing that you can say is that if you were to add, let's say, appointment reminders, which is something that most businesses should have, I would say 99%. I can't even think of a use case where that wouldn't be worth it for you to set up. Well, then these are kind of no-brainers you could set up pretty easily, maybe in a day. Maybe you hire someone out to do, and it doesn't cost you too much per email. And that just allows you to get a higher show up rate. So even if your show up rate is 80%, well, maybe with these appointment reminders, you might get 5% boost, but the amount of effort you have to put into doing these appointment reminders is so low that it might actually be worth it for you to make more profit out of it. Now, in terms of your book rate, so does your call funnel have significant friction? Example on application time constraints. So now we're talking about, let's say, maybe your landing page offer, maybe you're running ads to your landing page. So is there an issue there? If it's not, then is your call funnel sufficiently compelling, validated through funnel review with marketing expert? So there's something about that you could change. Now, if your call funnel has significant friction, does your call funnel have significant friction? If it has, then you have a marketing funnel constraint to improve the funnel's effectiveness. So that would be, if we're to see in terms of website optimization, so your landing page or your funnel, you could see it. We have sections here on how to optimize your websites for conversion rate. So that would be website structure, website design, and website speed. Those are the 3 pillars, I would say, for website optimization. Again, we have trainings covering that, so you can download those in the description. In any case, what you would want to do is improve those 3 aspects to try to bring up your conversion rate higher. There's things about website speed that, if I look at the statistics here, maybe I can show you quick and get back on the subject. But you see how conversion rate is affected by the site speed, the loading speed of your website. So if your website is loading from 0 to 1 seconds, conversion rate might be 31%, then it could drop to 20%, 2 seconds it drops to 13%, and so on and so forth. So this is going to be, again, industry dependent and whatever, but I would say in 99.999% of cases, your website is faster, you're getting more conversion. So you're not even changing your design, not even changing your offer, not even changing your sales process, not even changing nothing about your actual business. All you're changing is that your website's loading faster. So anyways, we have trainings going over that. If ever you want to check out those videos, we have videos about that also. So let's get back into it here. So if that is the case, then marketing funnel constraint. And if no, and then is your call funnel sufficiently compelling, validated through funnel review with marketing expert, then that's going to be an offer issue. So if it's not, then there's something about it to improve. And if it's yes, then you have a lead quality constraint. So address with your marketing lead or media buyer. So an example I could give you is that if you're, let's say, a roofing company and you're going through a sales process, maybe you're doing Facebook ads and they're going to a funnel. So they're going to a landing page that has funnel features. So I'm not going to describe all that, but in any case, if the leads are coming through, and let's say you have 1,000 people coming in, from those 1,000 people, you have less than 10% of them. Well, it might be that those 1,000 people aren't actually people looking for that service. So maybe your ads are not matching with your actual funnel. Maybe your ads are saying free roof estimate, but when you get on the funnel, it's $100 roof estimate, whatever it may be. So there's friction there. So people they thought it was something and now it's something else. So if there's discrepancy in that, then there's going to be a reduction in actual booking rate. So you could fix it in those two ways. So it's either at the beginning of the funnel, so when people actually first are introduced to you. So basically, if I were to go, I'm actually going to take the time to do this explanation a little bit better. So if I were to go here, where lead notices your business, and when they notice your business, whether it's from search engine results or your ads or whatever it may be, when they notice it in a way that gives them the information or the impression that you are X, Y, and Z business. Well, when they actually get to inform themselves, and when they go through your funnel, they realize you're not X, Y, Z, you're more ABC. And maybe they're not looking for ABC. So if they actually pressed on the ads because they were looking for X, Y, Z. So if there's an issue, a discrepancy there, then you're going to lose conversions. But then if you are what you say, so if you are X, Y, Z, and what you share is X, Y, Z, then you're not going to have issues there. But maybe in terms of after that, what you might have an issue, let's go zoom in back here. You might have an issue in the actual way it's presented. So it's not actually the offer. It's not actually the congruency between the leads and the offer. It's going to be how it's presented, or at least how the website is structured. So there's ways, there's different, I would say, stupid almost things that you could improve. Maybe the size of the buttons. Maybe people aren't even seeing the buttons on the website. They can't even click on find the lead or whatever it may be. The speed, like I was saying, so it's too slow to load. So people just lose patience and they leave out and they bounce and so on and so forth. So those are pretty much the things you could do. And again, we have trainings covering basically every single one of them more in depth. So if ever you're interested in that, you can check out the link in the description below and get access to all those for free. So that's pretty much it for this video. A little bit of a shorter video on this channel, but just want to show you guys, if you're trying to get some benchmarks and trying to get some ideas of where you're lacking, this might be a good flowchart to give you an idea. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.